All right, this liberal just got schooled by a conservative over January 6th.
I just love when black conservatives come with the receipts.
So I just want to make it very clear. Donald Trump radicalized an insurrection on January 6th that killed one of y'all's side of the aisle. Let's be very clear. A young lady was killed there, and she was a Republican because Trump radicalized. Trump did not make the message or make the call to stop. Instead, he told him to storm the Capitol. And so one of y'all's lost their lives because of what he's done. So how do y'all explain that?
Okay, so about January 6th, I can speak quite a bit on this issue because I was actually in D.C. on January 6th. I was scheduled to speak at the Capitol building. It was an event that was going to be taking place coinciding with the other event that happened at the Ellipse. President Trump exited the stage and attendees were instructed to walk towards the Capitol building for these speeches. And before any of this happened, President Trump actually knew, and he had an idea, hey, we need to increase the security. He reached out to D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser and Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and said, hey, let's get the security up for this event. Let's make sure we have enough Capitol police officers there. They both declined because they didn't see it as important enough. They didn't see it as risky enough. So each and every time we hear this rhetoric about saying, oh, Trump insurrected, he said to his people, go march there and attack the Capitol building. No, I was there at that speech, front row, 10 feet away from that man when he said, march peacefully. I saw on Twitter before they nuked him off the platform, he said, protest peacefully. Hurt nobody. And at the very end, he posted a video on Twitter, once again, before he was nuked off the platform, saying, please leave, do not break any laws, go home, and stop. That is what President Trump did on that day.
All right, so if you don't know who that young man is, that is Chandler Crump, somebody that has actually been around for quite some time. He's a very young man, but he had his facts on point. And let's talk about January 6th, all right? Because a lot of the left, they try to talk about, oh, this is an insurrection, all of these people were killed, like all of this other stuff. So the bottom line about January 6th is that, number one, the point that Chandler made during this video was that Trump actually did request for there to be a lot more security in DC at that time. That request was denied by Mayor Muriel Bowser. What I believe is this, and let me give you a little January 6th lore. I was invited via an organization that I had a relationship with at the time to go to DC for January 6th for that rally. I declined, and the reason I declined is this. A couple of months before January 6th, I had been in DC for something called the quote-unquote Million MAGA March that was all around DC. And I went. I was on book tour at the time. It was such negative, toxic energy. I was just like, this is really bad, all right? There was so much that went on during that weekend in DC that did not make the news. A lot of it was on social media and a lot of that stuff, but the news intentionally ignored it because I believe that January 6th was just a setup. It was an op that a lot of people fell for at that time. But as soon as I experienced with my own two eyes that Million MAGA March and these clashes between MAGA and Antifa and all of that stuff, I said I am absolutely not going to be anywhere near DC during January 6th. If I'm not mistaken, I was in Puerto Vallarta at the time. So just to give you a little insight about what that really was.